Should you add Brice Turang or Nolan Gorman? Let's break it down on Fantasy Baseball Today in 5. Welcome into FBT in 5. Today is Tuesday, April 4th. I am Frank Samfeld, joined by Scott White. And let's do a little this or that. Scott, this player or that player? And we'll start with Brice Turang versus Nolan Gorman. Turang had a monster game here on Monday, went 2 for 3 with a grand sock into shoe. That is a grand slam and a stolen base in the same game. And Nolan Gorman, we know what he's done so far. He had a 2-homer game over the weekend, and he had 2 more hits on Monday as well. Who would you rather have between the two? Brice Turang, Nolan Gorman.
I'm going to go with Brice Turang. I think there's more playing time upside for him. Both of these players seem like they're destined to sit against left-handers for now. But Turang hit lefties pretty well in the minors, and I think if he lives up to his full potential and continues to hit well, they're going to want him in the lineup every day. He can earn his way into that. When Gorman, on the other hand, there are just so many mouths to feed in that Cardinals lineup. There were 4 outfielders for 5 spots to begin with. So, if they wanted, the Cardinals haven't been playing Dylan Carlson that much, but that at some point they're going to want to give him at bats, presumably. And I imagine the ability to slide an outfielder into the DH spot where Gorman normally starts is going to play into that. Also, with Lars Nootbaar being hurt, seems like just a short-term thing, but with him being hurt, Alec Burleson has come on, another pretty good prospect, and has played well in the outfield. So there's just a lot of other hitters that the Cardinals have to consider. They can't just make Gorman a full-time DH occupying that spot every day. And so that's the downside for him, but he has good power, and I like the way the plate disciplines look for him so far, and he may end up surprising me.
2 of the most added players on CBS this weekend were Duvall and James Outman. And then what happened? They went out and had big games again on Monday. Duvall reached base 4 times. He went 2 for 3 with 2 walks, a run, and an RBI. James Outman went 2 for 5 with a triple, 3 RBI, and 2 runs scored. Scott, would you rather have Duvall or Outman?
So I'd rather have Duvall, first starter season everyday player, and certainly a lot more proven. I mean, it was just 2 years ago Duvall hit 38 home runs between Miami and Atlanta. Now he's in Boston, of course, and there may not be a venue better suited for his swing than Fenway Park, because he tends to hit towering fly balls to his pull side. Obviously, a really short pull side in Fenway, and we see the results early on. He's delivered monster production. I also going beyond that is just the fact that the dampened baseballs in cold weather, and it wasn't any colder. Like the coldest place games were played this past weekend was Boston, basically. And even with the dampened balls in that cold environment, Duvall's power wasn't suppressed like we saw early last season. With those towering flies, it seemed like he was really falling victim to that. I'm referring to the widespread humidor use when I say dampened balls, which we think is still in play. But it doesn't seem to be impacting Duvall like it did last year. And then you add Boston on top of it, Fenway Park, and yeah, I'm really excited about his chances this year.
All right, well, which Twins outfielder would you rather have, Scott? Between Trevor Larnach, who went 2 for 5 with a home run and 3 RBI on Monday, Joey Gallo, who went 1 for 3 with a 3-run homer, 112.3 mile per hour exit velocity on that home run, and that comes just one day after a multi-homer game. Larnach or Gallo?
So this is a really close call, and I almost want to split the difference here and just pick up Gallo in some leagues, Larnach in some leagues, just so if I pick wrong, I'm hedging my bet. Gallo, of course, has huge power, and we've seen him be a major fantasy asset in the not too distant past. But when he doesn't deliver on the full extent of his upside, you just regret having him on your roster, period. Larnach, I think if this isn't a breakout for him, and more likely than not, it isn't, then you just drop him and move on. You don't suffer as much through the what if game with Larnach, like the plate discipline for him in the early going. So I'm going to say Larnach, but they both have upside. They're both worth monitoring.
Yeah, I agree. If I only played in one league, I think I would take the shot on Larnach, but yeah, both are pretty interesting. For more extensive fantasy baseball coverage, listen to the Fantasy Baseball Today podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, the Audacy app, or anywhere else podcasts are found. Thanks for listening to Fantasy Baseball Today in 5, and we'll be back again tomorrow. Bye-bye!